On City Newsroom, have you wondered the meaning and names and the importance of flags of canoes along the coast of the country? We'll fill you in.
Now, in our very first story, some aggrieved workers of the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, PMMC, are calling on President Akufo-Addo to immediately sack the managing director and dissolve the board of the company. According to the workers, Kojo Parry-Hammond has, in addition to other infractions, been circumventing the procurement processes of the company. City News' Bobi Osei was at the PMMC and filed this report.
The workers, numbering over 50, could not hide their determination to have the MD of the company, along with the board, sacked. According to them, their continuous presence at the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, PMMC, will lead to a collapse of the company. Branch Secretary of the PMMC Workers Union, Agnes Aite, spoke to City News.
We all know that there's a law backing the procurement that if you are buying something above 100,000 Ghana cedis, you should form a tender committee who will see to things and then choose. But in this case, he would single-handedly buy an X-ray machine for the for airport branch over 600,000 Ghana cedi without it going through the procurement processes. And these are some of the things that are bringing the company down. He has done so many things. I mean, even if staff go for loans, they are not even granted the loans because of some of these corrupt things that he's doing. Aside that, now we have more security in our system as we used to. Now that we don't even do anything here, we don't even have the money. The company is gone into bankruptcy, but he has money to increase the board allowances to 729%. Once the staff take 12%, and all these are injustice to the staff.
Management of PMMC, represented by the Chief Finance Officer Wilson Iduchum, denied the allegations against the MD and the board and urged the aggrieved workers to use the right channels to have their issues addressed.
This year is for the last year. The last year, what they are taking, the same thing they are taking, nothing has increased. Only the staff salary was increased. Apart from the staff salary, even the managing director didn't increase his salary. He's taking the whole salary. It's the senior and the junior salary which was increased. They were giving us about 10%. So, yeah. But the MD and deputy and the board, they haven't increased their allowances. So if somebody goes and says that the chief executive salary has been increased, it has not been increased. It still stands since the time he was employed. Nobody has increased his salary.
The workers, as part of their demonstration, presented a petition to their mother union, the Ghana Mine Workers Union. Receiving the petition on behalf of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, the national chairman, Mensa Kwaku Jakari, assured the workers that their grievances will be worked on with urgency.
So I want to assure all of you that, guys, you are in safe hands. Wow. The issue will be dealt with appropriately and decisively. Yes, the president will hear you. We'll have an appointment with the authorities so that, as a matter of fact, we will be able to have a discussion with them. And I want to assure you, we are going to attend the 9th meeting, and your petition is going to be the major issue that we are going to discuss with them. From there, we will follow up to where we have to go.
So the workers of PMMC today have expressed a major anger and displeasure against the managing director of the PMMC, basically saying that he's mismanaging the company, he's engaging in practices that are not healthy for the growth of PMMC, and they want him to go now. But management themselves believe that the workers do not have any issue at all, as the manager has made sure that losses that were incurred by the PMMC have reduced substantially. Well, from PMMC, my name is Bobi Osei for City News.
Let's get to some other stories. And quarry site operators at Shire Hills in the Greater Accra region have threatened to sue the Ghana Highway Authority for allegedly sabotaging their businesses and preventing them from being awarded contracts in the ongoing motorway expansion project. The operators allege that the authority is going about peddling falsehood about their trade. City News' Tema correspondent Elvis Washington has details in this report.
At a press conference organized by the Shire Hills Quarry Operators Association in Tema, the spokesperson for the association, Mr. Michael Kuma, said the Ghana Highway Authority is alleging that materials from the Shire Hills Quarry contain alkaline content which is not suitable for construction works in the country, and has directed the contractors undertaking the motorway expansion project not to purchase any material from Shire Hills quarries.
And we've recently received some documents from the consultant who is in charge of the motorway interchange project. And the issue is about them writing a letter officially signed by the director from the highway that the materials coming from the shelters shouldn't be used for any projects at that particular site. And we find it as a matter of difficulty on our side because we don't have any report, any result from Ghana Highways proving beyond every reasonable doubt that the materials coming from shelters are not suitable for projects in the country. We are supplying products from shelters to most of the major projects in the country here. I think since Kwame Nkrumah time, the project from the quarries, the materials from shelters has been used for the construction of Akosombo Dam, Tema Port, the Tema Motorway, the past circle interchange, and current the biggest port expansion that is going on in the country has also been used for, the materials from shelters has been used for similar projects, which is ongoing now. Gasem is also using our products to produce cement for the country.
Mr. Kuma said the association will not have any option than to take legal action against Highways Authority for sabotaging their business.
And we don't know why somebody sits at Ghana Highways without any proper proof to the Quarry Association at shelters that the materials coming from shelters are not suitable for concrete work. So if now Ghana Highways is saying that the products from shelters are not suitable for construction work, why did they have to sit down for these products to be used for such projects? It means that they are putting the life of people in this country in danger. But if they don't have any proof of these test results, then they should hold their peace. Otherwise, they are pushing the association members to take them to court, to come and go to the court. Why they are bringing this in? Because we are suspecting that there's somebody behind this, either collecting something from somebody, decided to sabotage the business of people.
A visit to some of the quarry sites revealed that the machines were grounded as several materials were seen lying in huge quantities. For City News, Alvis Washington reporting from Tema.
Farmers within the Bolgatanga municipality and Bongo district in the Upper East region who farm within the Via irrigation facility in the Bongo district want the government to rehabilitate the dam that serves the place. According to the farmers, the Via dam, which serves as an alternative source of water supply for them, has not seen any rehabilitation works for over 50 years, a situation they say is taking a toll on their activities. Some of the farmers spoke to City News.
The canals, they are broken because they are broken. Every place we cannot work. If you see this place, I'm a youth. All the youth, you cannot farm. I'm farming this thing, vegetables and tomatoes plus rice. All the canals are broken. The water cannot flow. If you see this place, every place is filled with soil, so the water cannot flow. So to help us to work.
The repair, this dam are coming 65. But this is dam for us. Up to now, no any maintenance. So all the canals are weak. We couldn't farm. Last year we couldn't farm. This year too, we are how we are now. The rain not come. When the rain not come, this rice we are standing and look it will go condemn because the farmer. I'm a farmer, I won't get anything from it. So where problem is that like government help to come and repair this where canals for us, we will be happy. So we are suffering too much in Via project because farmers will crop from Boku, Dagbao, maybe Walwale side and come here to farm. Now don't come again because the canals are broke. So we serve for the community. The work we are doing is not helping us. It's let me like this. I'm standing now. All my children are run away to Kumasi and leave me.
Take a drive along the country's beaches and you'll find thousands of canoes scattered as you go along. One can also not miss their often interesting names and colorful flags atop each canoe. But have you wondered the stories behind these flags? The following report by Nia Mama seeks to settle this curious fact.
Across the numerous fishing communities along Ghana's coast, one thing stands out: bold, beautiful flags. Each flag has its own meaning and have become a pleasant distraction for visitors who throng the beaches daily. This is the Tema Fishing Harbour, home to about 1,000 canoes, with each carrying up to 15 fishermen. Solomon Nati has been stationed here at the Tema Fishing Harbour for about 10 years. He tells me the flags are not mere decorations.
Sometimes what they saw here. Any lele kubai habo enye mwe aje. Iwo yako yani ko eson ni flag belele no. Onyi me na abo. Si flag ba ni e ba na ke lele ku yeje sani mi umaya se. Fio hale. Ni ke ko ocho ni enu kote ni na efite no yeson. Onyi me na se ba na ke lele ku yeje.
But for Noah Wekuta, his flag has political connotations.
This flag. Ni mino we use that kind of flag. Beni this bano machine go aye jalawa. She be ate machine jawa. No use mo party asan. No ani ma flag here. Ni e ko me oji kese be na me afo awo. No wa show flag ko ni ko ya. Ko ni ke melu ko ba ni nawo.
Not all the flags are made of fabric. Some are made with plastic and are usually black, and they serve a particular purpose.
No je flag ni si efe to monoko ni ke wo nwe ya ne ken wo ke ma ya jian wa fion ke ma ya jian ko ni efe no ko to mo e kadi ya ha wo ke wo te se son obanye je flag e no ka ba ba ni ya eyo lo efe to ko ka na flag e ma no te son onyo na ya o ya ba laji.
The flags do not only have surface meanings and functions. Then is a J, a fisherman who grew up at the harbor, tells me some of the flags have been imbibed with supernatural powers.
Symbol say flag symbol na afia je symbol follow ni bona say symbol your flag me ko on to kwe e wale symbol ni no je mo ko wa ke ne tu fache ni fi ahale no flag say ni je to mo flank kekeni no ba no yale no ba ji no go ba shanta ba che ni o go ba fit mo putu no ba wo ko ko na hin ni be pi ba nwe mo fi mo reputation ni mini if you only e can na lenche show me lo ne yo le a lot of flags in your show na mo go ba yen Ghana Blaster o stuff we saw me awo me ale e mo no yen Ghana Blaster flag no she no Côte d'Ivoire Nigeria flags be come to other countries say be American flag a flood protection.
At first sight, these flags seem like mere decorations for the canoes here, but the fishermen tell us that they do more for them than meets the eye. Reporting for City News from the Tema Fishing Harbour, my name is Ni Ama.
Meanwhile, the culture of fishing communities in Ghana is unique, but nothing stands out more than the eye-catching names that fisherfolk adopt for their prized boats. My colleague Calvis Tete in the Central Region has the details.
Names such as Nsonya Meye, Asedaneye, Don't Mind Your Wife, See Me, Obiabanye, Obadaye, Jehovah Shammah, Ajo, Omo are but a few examples of such names. How do they come up with these names and what stories lie underneath? Mr. Samuel Morrison, a resident of Gomwanyanyano, and he explains that names such as Jenshihilewa, which means life is difficult, Adrian Mantem, Kabo Nyamikwashia, Don't Mind Your Wife, Akwe Allah, which literally means everything is in God's hands, are names which these canoe owners use for casting insinuations.
Like Busaboya. I thought I say Busaboya. Busaboya is me like you are going to bank to borrow money to start a business. At the end of the day, you fall down. So someone will write Busaboya, and there's another write Apapa. Someone will write Minyawaye, Musio. There are lots of them that people are writing. Okuku Seku, Onipa Uyimu. Ajo may say Mudowa Mudo. Ajo Kwan may say Mudowu. There are a lot of writings people have write on their canoe. It's like Jenshilewa in a Ghana language. Jenshilewa. And some people say Ajuna Mentem Infante. I do not matter. Mine no come early.
Kabo yemi kwashia.
Kabo yemi kwashia. Me munu kwashia.
The chief fisherman for Gomwanyanyano, Nana Afo Awatri II, has an even more interesting example for the origins of these names.
The reason why we write names in the canoe is sometimes it symbolizes the place where you come from, and also sometimes it suits your own interest, because maybe I will write Kofi in my canoe. Everybody will know Kofi is coming, Kofi canoe is coming. And also sometimes Africans on your canoe, on your car. When somebody reads, it's sometimes insulting somebody or saying something too. Yeah. One behind you or one in the house. Yeah, that's why we do write that names in that.
Speaking to some fisher folks, they made it clear to me that names such as Asidaneye, Don't Mind Your Wife, Azuwufuri, Obatampa, among others, didn't come by just a mere fluke. However, these names are meant to identify the various fishing canoes whenever one goes for fishing and commits an offense, or better still, for casting insinuations. Reporting for City TV from Gumwanyanyano in the Central Region, I am Carlos Tete.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Right, so if you owned a canoe, what would be the name on it?
Mourinho.
Oh, it's understandable.
Yeah, that's understandable, you know.
All right, so
anyway, you're still watching the City Newsroom live on City TV. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. But later in the bulletin, we'll be hearing from the board chairperson of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, giving us more takes on how those challenges at the office will be solved.
Every Thursday night on City TV, you're welcome to join women from different backgrounds and opinions as they weigh in on your relationship issues. Watch Sister Sister as the ladies get real with issues about love, marriage, betrayal, sex, dating, trust, finances, and more.
You can tell him, like she said, tell him about it because clearly you have a problem with it. But if he's still, being that way, then you might have to advise yourself because it's a weird thing.
Join Jessica and her sisters for City TV's all-women talk show, Sister Sister, every Thursday at 9 p.m. We spice up your mornings with culturally enriched conversations, social interviews, and policy-oriented discussions that will keep you updated on the progress of the nation.
Because we're giving only those in their third trimester. So in the next 3 months, those in their second would be ready to receive the kits. And we're taking data at registration, which is before they take the kits, at delivery and post-delivery, so that we can analyze and we'll see the numbers. So from the numbers and the data that we're collecting, we would know what has worked, what hasn't worked,
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Let your voice be heard with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. Join us for breakfast daily, only on City TV.
Thank you very much for staying. Now, about 2,000 people working in the beverages industry in Ghana could lose their jobs if the Ghana Revenue Authority fails to allow companies that were closed down on Tuesday for operating without a tax stamp to resume operations. This is according to the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI. The association says it is not against tax stamp policy, but is however appealing to government to review the implementation of the policy. Now, the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, Mr. Seth Chum Akwabwa, has joined us in the studio. Thank you very much, Seth, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So why do you have a problem with GRA over this?
Well, as you yourself mentioned, we are not against the implementation of the tax stamp. We don't really have a problem with GRA per se.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long journey. You know, we've been discussing how the implementation should go and all that. What we've not been very happy about is the sudden storm in the company's premises and preventing them from doing business or bringing their products to the market because they don't have the tax stamps are fixed on their products. This is because we have discussed this in the past, and when we all agreed that we should go, the companies were asking for digital stamps, but GRA didn't agree, and after back and forth, it was finally agreed that we would do the fiscal fixing of the stamps instead of the digital. But in the process, they have to acquire the machine and fix it. So the companies are complying. They are all in the process of procuring this. And indeed, they have communicated to the GRA their plan of implementing the whole program. So we were actually surprised that suddenly they went to their offices.
Right, so when you met regarding the implementation, what was the duration? How long did the companies have to make sure this happens?
It differs. Every company has its own arrangement. In fact, indeed, what happened was that they had to fly in the manufacturer of the applicator, that's the machine for fixing the stamps. So they have to come and monitor and examine their production lines so that they can tailor-made the machine to it. So each of the companies have their own, and some of them have 2 or 3 lines. So depending on the number of lines you have, then you also, buy the number of applicators you need for your kind of lines. So it differs. But the range is actually between now, I'll say from August. Some of them purchased the equipment, they pay for it around August. So between August and December, they were all supposed to comply. So I think that's the time range, and they are all working on it.
Now, how come some companies have been able to do this and others have not, and actually taking these products onto the market, which is not supposed to be the issue?
If you look at it, there are different kinds of products.
Yes.
There are the spirits, the high liquor.
Yeah.
The volumes are not that many. So you can even do manual fixing. That is easy. But the beverage industry, they have high-speed lines. Some of them have about 40,000 bottles per hour. So you can't use the same method to affix the stamps. And therefore, they needed this applicator, which is efficient. That's why they had to go through a process to procure it. So if you see some of the products in the market with the stamps affixed, it clearly tells you that those products probably are not from the companies that have the very high-speed lines. Those with the high-speed lines, nobody has fully complied. But then those with the high-speed line, they also have other products, like the spirits, which they actually are able to fix easily. So those products are complying. But the rest that involves the high-speed lines, it will take a while to get the applicator in and get the process completed.
Right, so why do you want the task force, stationed at the premises of these manufacturers out of the place?
And because they are doing business, and on a daily basis, they have to satisfy their customers. They have, demands that they need to satisfy. They have competition in the market. If you leave your space for a little while, imports come in and then compete with you in the market. So allow them to operate, and then during the period that they are transitioning from the current system to the new system.
Till when?
They've given the indication. Each of them has given their own indication as to when they will be able to fully comply because of the process they are going through. And I indicated that between now and November to December, they should all fully comply.
So what has been the conversation with GRA since Tuesday?
Well, we've communicated to GRA our concerns, and they have asked that we give them a full report on individual basis. This time, they are not going to go wholesale, so they will look at each company and its own arrangement. So we're asking the companies to give us information as to how far they've gone with their procurement process, and indeed Today, they supplied us with a lot of information. Some are giving us the purchase orders, which clearly indicates how much, even the receipts of monies they've transferred to the company during the applicator and all that. So putting all this information together, we are sending to the GRA, and on the basis of that, we expect that they will grant them the permission to do their work.
Right, so now the companies, for instance, like Coca-Cola, you know, they are just sending products out and many people consume their products. And per what the tax stamp is supposed to do, check the quality of all these. Don't you think that having the tax force station there is really going to put pressure on them to speed up things, because we are all looking out for the best?
The tax stamp doesn't check quality. The tax stamp is only indicating the volume of products you've produced. They want to be able to count the number of bottles you produced, because that determines the amount of excise tax you pay.
Yeah.
So what government is trying to do is to be able to track it. That if you say you are paying, you are producing so much, on the basis of which you are paying your tax, is it really what you are declaring that you are producing? Maybe you are producing more. That's government's concern. And that's the reason why we are fixing the tax stamp. It has nothing to do with quality check.
Well, if you check what the tax stamp is supposed to do, the GRA has enumerated a lot of pointers, and this is one. They also want to look out for quality and all, not only the money that is coming to government.
Well, it has nothing to do with quality, to be honest.
Yeah.
It has to do with the number of bottles you are producing. There's another institution in charge of quality check. That is the Ghana Standards Authority and Food and Drugs Board and all that. So that's different. So this one is checking the number of bottles you've produced.
Okay.
And as far as that is concerned, the fact that you don't have the tax stamp on it does not mean you are coming out with poor quality products.
So how is the conversation going with your request to GRA? As far as the grounded companies are concerned, are you getting any insight to this?
Yes, we expect that GRA will listen to us. As I said, we've been speaking to the GRA.
But what have they been saying?
Well, what they have requested from us is to give detailed account of the processes that the companies have gone through.
So what happens if they don't rescind this decision?
I don't expect that they won't rescind the decision. What do you want to do? You want to collect taxes, okay? It's only when the companies produce and sell the products in the market, generate the revenue and pay the taxes. And your aim is to, make as much money as possible. So why would you prevent them from producing? If they are giving you clear indication that they are in the process of complying, they are giving you evidence of the purchase orders, they are giving you evidence of payment they've made, and these are not machines that you just pick off the shelf and come and install on your plant. The company had to come down to examine the whole plant and go and manufacture something to suit your plant. So you can't just, in a day or two, just buy it and fix it.
Do you think that the GRA is doing this just to scare you?
Well, I wouldn't say just to scare companies.
You said that you don't think they will not rescind their decision.
But why shouldn't they rescind their decision?
So do you think that this is just some kind of a move to
they want to be sure that companies comply. That is the bottom line. And as I said, the discussion has been going on for a long time.
Yes.
And finally, we've agreed that we'll go this way. We'll go the fiscal fixing of the stamps. So once that has been agreed, then they have to allow the system to operate. So they are not doing this to scare anybody. I think they want to ensure that the companies comply. But then you can't ensure compliance over the process. So let's allow the process to go through.
Right. So what do you think should happen to your members who do not comply with this directive by end of, let's say, December?
No, the thing is that we urging our members to comply. We are a law-abiding organization. We actually urge our companies to do same, because we all need to develop this country. GRA needs the money, and if the only way to ensure that people pay the right taxes, so be it. So comply. But then we should also allow the companies to comply within the time frame that we've given. And that is very important. So we are urging our members to comply. If you're unable to comply by December, there should be evidence of it, of you making every effort. Because, for example, one of the companies was telling us the applicator they brought, the sample they brought, wasn't really working well on their line. So in that case, they have to bring another one. So if there are such challenges, and we will get to know about it, the GRA will get to know about it. All they want to see is effort from your end, and indeed, if it's a genuine effort, we will appreciate it. But I don't think they will accept any excuse that you are not making that effort, and then come November, December, you haven't complied, and then they are going to allow you to be operating. That they won't. And we don't expect that they will just give a wholesale exemption to everybody.
And AGI will not be supporting such companies?
Of course, no. We have asked them to comply. The point is that they are making effort to comply. So let's help them to comply. Of course, we need these companies. You just mentioned that if they don't comply or whatever happens and then we don't allow them to operate, we are losing jobs. And you want to lose jobs, maybe your sister or your brother is working there. So if he comes, what is going to happen? So we need the jobs, and therefore we should help them to comply so that we are all, okay in the system.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, and hope your discussions with GRA goes well.
Thank you.
Right, so I've been talking to the CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, said Chum Akwabwa, over their discussions with GRA as far as the tax stamp policy is concerned. Now, moving on, hundreds of sympathizers this morning converged at the Accra International Conference Center for the burial service of the late former Supreme Court Justice, Professor VCRAC Crab. Among the sympathizers who gathered to pay their last respects were President Akufo-Addo, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, former President Jerry John Rawlings, as well as ministers of state and parliamentarians. Justice Crab died on September 7 this year after a short illness. He was 94 years old. Here is a report on the event by Nashi Kasiza.
The funeral of the former Supreme Court Judge, Justice Vincent Cyril Richard Arthur Charles Crab, widely known as VCRAC Crab, solemn and heartfelt. The main auditorium of the Accra International Conference Center was filled to capacity as hundreds of mourners joined the family to pay their final respects to the departed statesman. VCRAC Crab was born on October 29, 1923 at Asher Town in Accra, and he passed away on the 7th of September 2018 after a short illness. In attendance at his funeral today was the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo, and the Speaker of Parliament, Mike Eronokwe. Other dignitaries include former President Jerry John Rawlings and ex-President John Ejekun Kufuor, as well as some parliamentarians and government officials, both past and present. In eulogizing him, his family and friends described him as a great disciplinarian.
He helped Minister Milton Obote and President Kabaka Mutesa II, without which Uganda would have been plunged soon after. In 1966, the service to the 1969 Constitutional Commission for Judge. Commissioner, Constitutional Commission, Chair, Justice Akufo-Addo, actually appointed electoral. Thus, he set up the Electoral Commission, staffing and organizing the 1969 elections.
My brother became a vegan while I still enjoyed. We would eat our favorite komike kenan together. Me eating all the kenan and Charlie sticking to the red hot pepper, vegetables. How he loved his kenke. Charlie was a disciplinarian with a big and warm heart. He took such good care of himself.
Very modest. To his house, you will see how modestly he lived, and he was humble. Anytime we call him, he showed up. In fact, I heard that one time he called the school when we were having an activity and asked whether he could come. I mean, this is somebody we always love to invite him, and sometimes we didn't want to. But he asked whether he could come. That was how humble he was.
But everybody recognized that he was one about public service and the way it has to be done. This is what he did. He was a disciplined collective good, and because of his age of
I think he's one person that I would say served him. His conscience was his God. I was sitting down quietly. I didn't come too early. Sitting down quietly, and I was listening to the things that were being said. That is the truth about him.
His remains were sent to the Usu Cemetery, where he was buried. The late retired VCRAC Crab, before his demise, was a professor of law at College in Accra. He was also of law at the University of West Indies. He was instrumental in the drafting of the Constitution of Ghana. Rest in peace. Conference Center, Chita Caesar.
Let's get to some other stories. And a 32-year-old woman, Gloria Akoli, has been stoned to death allegedly by her husband at Amuzukope in the central region. City News said her father usually engaged her mother in heated arguments and occasionally threatened to kill her and use her for rituals. Benisa Akoli said her parents' marriage had not a while.
He only recollects that her phone call early Thursday morning and went out. A neighbor, Paul Amanyo, also told City News that they called the deceased husband, Mr. Kofi, to inform him incident for and fair back to him. Kofi in the Huggins in an attempt to area with help from some passers-by. They accosted him and handed him to assist in investigations. The Casa Police Command has investigation. The chair office of the Special for recall that the instruments for the most of the current parliament has been the major hindrance towards bringing the LI in. In recent about the speaking of a GII event integrity, says she had no doubt that government was committed to
it's on recess. So obviously when it comes up, now that the matter has become one of very everybody's looking up to, I'm sure when Parliament resumes, we will have the LI laid, and then the special prosecutor will get a document he needs to work with. In terms of financial resources and all that, the LI is supposed to throw light on the law that we have for him to do his work. So since the complaints came, even before the complaint, some steps have been taken. We just need to fast track things, and whether it has come to the board or not, some things couldn't have happened. For instance, the LI, according to the act by the Attorney General in consultation with the board, when the special prosecutor's office was set up, it took some number of months for the board to be constituted. Now we have a board. Now, as at yesterday, the document has been presented to us. We have actually had the opportunity to even look at it already. So we are hoping that immediately Parliament resumes, the LI will be put before them and to go through the 21 days that is required by law.
Let's do some politics. And the New Patriotic Party in the Asonafo North constituency of the Brongahafu region has debunked allegations made by the minority in parliament over government's maintenance of the cocoa producer price. City News' Michael Sapongfung was at the presser at Goso and reports.
The press conference organized by the executives of the New Patriotic Party in the Asonafo North constituency was in reaction to the minority's press conference, which hit of the high exchange rate. The Asonafo South Secretary James Trinbo Akodia noted that minority only threw dust into the eyes of the public and cocoa farmers.
He said government was right in using the current dose in calculating the producer price. He also debunked allegations that cocoa rows in the country were introduced by the NDC.
We believe that the producer price of cocoa dependent upon the world market price of cocoa. Since the MPP assumed the reins of power in January 2017, there has been a serious downward trend in the price of cocoa. The producer has reduced the price of cocoa. Last year alone, our neighbors to reduce the price of cocoa on 2 occasions. We noted that the government does not use the official Bank of Ghana of FOB price. However, the end of the year, the use of 4.54 calculation is appropriate. The inclination we are making here is that normally FOB price are made based upon percentages, and with this year, when you calculate the amount that is being paid, the amount represents 77.9% of the FOB price being given to farmers, the highest in the history of this country. It should be made clear that the NDC's attempt at arrogating the introduction of the cocoa rows to themselves is unacceptable. We all know that the cocoa rows concept was introduced by the elsewhere Kufuor in the 2001. Clear that the President Kufuor, during his time, believed that roads leading to cocoa grain should be tarred so that people can travel in and out, so that they can bring the cocoa out of those areas. It was through this reason that cocoa roads. However, cocoa are losing to the fact that cocoa roads was introduced elsewhere in this state.
Mr. Kodria also noted that it has introduced more pro-poor policies for cocoa farmers and all Ghanaians.
We need to state categorically that cost of living is, as alluded to by the minority in Parliament, for this. It is only example for the minority which is responsible for our woes to accuse the MPP of this country.
For City News, I am Michael Saponinfo.
Gumwa Nyamibetre, a farming community known as live in this community farmers in other activities. Total population 500 which is the Gumwa, which was donor funds organization. My colleague details.
As the only children are to attend that school, still towns such as Gomwa Dominase, Gomwa, just to access education. A visit to the school revealed that the school has only one in the community. However, at the school, which they build funds to support the concrete structure, headmistress of Hachu Camera indicated that although the school with the population less than 100 pupils was established in 2000, it was under immense pressure to accommodate more students. She also indicated that at certain times the school was forced to pay the students for lack of access to classrooms. Hachu added that although the school was not a public one, it is the only basic school in the area. Thomas Mauli Avugla, a class 4 teacher, also appealed to governments and NGOs from collapsing permanent structure.
As you can see, temporary distance. During the rainy season, so we are planning to come to our aid to put up a new shed for this rainy season. As
the whole area in the rain to teach all the children. The learning and teaching is very special during the rainy season.
Another teacher, Mr. Harry Fifi, that the tent structure tells City News that there's a certain times without food because their parents can't afford it.
And the next problem concern about our food. So we are get some
Class 4 Fajifa also indicated that when nutrition than to go to the JHS classroom to facilitate learning.
If the rain comes, I will go to the banana. And if
the structures they have is just temporary. Although they have some 4-unit classroom blocks, they're also appealing to government to, as a matter of urgency, come to their aid to help them build a structure. Reporting for City News from Gomanya Medechere, I am Calvis Tete.
Right, so you're still watching here. When we come back, we'll stories on it.
City TV is live. City TV is a free to air on a digital TV. Please press the remote control and run a new search on your take an antenna TV. TV can be accessed on a web digital box and Star Times box. Tune into City TV and experience your world. City TV.
Thank you very much for staying with us here on City Newsroom Live on City TV. Let's get to some of the stories. And pupils in 23 schools no longer have to leave their school premises in search. This is Accra Metropolitan Project. Have been sitting the commission of with this report.
Of these school children had to resort to very alternatives just to answer nature's call. Before this toilet was built, where were you going to washroom?
Yes, I used to go outside and pay 1 cedi.
Now that a washroom has been built for you, what do you think?
Those people who organized to build their toilets, I thank them all because some of them don't have money, so sometimes they used to go back of the school and sit around. So every day if you come, that you will step on toilets.
Outside the gate, where the Mokola shopping mall is, and we always pay 1 cedi. Even if you are a small boy, you pay 1 cedi.
Your friends who don't have money, where do they go to toilet?
Some of them go to the back of, some of them come here, and they come and defecate all around. So we the seniors, they punish us and you come and burn all of them. When there is no water too, sometimes we pay 1 cedi and we go and poo. And so they will close the pipe and they will close the toilet and we go at the side across shopping mall there and we go and poo. Now that they have built the toilet for us, now we won't go outside and poo again and we won't pay the 50%. Our money will be comfortable for us. So we thank you for the AMA that they built the toilet for us.
Before this changing room, where if it's the time of the menses, and how were you handling it before?
I'm not feeling comfortable, and sometimes I'll go to myself before I come to the school.
Now that
change myself anytime I want.
The new facility comes with a squat plate, which is wash hand basins, and a changing room for ladies. The Metropolitan Director of Education spoke of how the lack of a proper place of convenience was hampering education in her schools.
Visit or to go and attend to nature's call and look around and ask them. That not say is no more. So what I'm going to say is next day. School is
speaking of the of a commitment to education.
Responsibility of government education, especially in public schools, and that as part of government subventions, 20% of the capitation grant. So largely the responsibility of schools to prioritize the expenditure of such money.
Project coordinator for the Gamma Sanitation Project further called on corporate organizations, beneficiary schools in the maintenance of their washrooms.
I am calling that we should prioritize sanitation in the schools and in the institutions, and by this not going to a month. The general public responses of our service. So most of this corporate would need
the independent here travel miles away from school just in search of a convenience. For City News, my name is Michael Obodu.
Now, away from education, the Directorate says malaria cases at various in the region are following control in recent the Directorate and drop in the 16. The Ashanti Health Service meeting announced the results in the mass insecticide region.
From the Ashanti drop is 26 died out of 28 and treated facilities in the region in the first half of 2020 as compared to 34 deaths recorded in 2017. Regarding children under 5 years, 30 deaths were recorded in 2016. in 2017. Within the same period between 2017 and 2018, 8.1 women tested positive for malaria. Director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Emmanuel Tenkran, attributes the decline to programs being rolled out to fight the disease. He says the service, with support, contribute long-lasting insecticide-treated nets free of communities in the region.
If you look at the bed that we have in this country, you realize that malaria is always number one. 5% of all our OPD attendants. All these interventions, it was even 5%. But now, because of the things that we've done, malaria control, we've been able to. But there's a need to sustain it and then also build on it so that we can even reduce the burden of the disease further. And we realize control is one of the key interventions. So we advocate that it's available to sleep in it. So once in a population of bed nets, and this is exactly what we are. But before first, so we are proposing that from this use the body. Yes.
Changes at the Kwame is advised the public adhere to using
the net actually take. You have to change for every understand that the shade open it on air for 20 before you start. Because if you don't result in benefits or that is some benefits, then net is not in medicine precaution safety product. This is or 12 way you say washing the net. We use mild soaps such as Key soap, Love Boy, Guardian, and all those mild soap. They should use detergent like Area soap, Omo, all those detergents. Some use paraffin in the net.
The exercise, which will begin from 4th to 10th October, is